What do you know about Napoleon? And how much of that knowledge is shaped by the recent movie about his life? If you're a history buff or a cinema enthusiast, you might have heard about Ridley Scott's latest biopic, Napoleon, starring Joaquin Phoenix. This film follows the rise of Napoleon during the French Revolution, his love for his wife Josephine, and his famous battles, ending with his defeat at Waterloo. But how much of what is shown in the movie is historically accurate? How much is fiction? To answer these questions, we turn to someone who knows Napoleon better than most, Michael Browers. Browers is a Napoleon expert who served as the historical consultant for the movie. His role was to provide historical insights to Ridley Scott to ensure the movie was as accurate as possible. But even Browers admits that the film is not a documentary, but a work of historical fiction, meant to entertain rather than educate. In the movie, we see many scenes that are disputed by Browers. For instance, the film portrays Napoleon shooting at the pyramids during his campaign in Egypt, a scene that Browers claims never happened. Similarly, the movie shows Napoleon witnessing the execution of Marie Antoinette, while Browers states that Napoleon was not present at the execution, but was on garrison duty down south at the time. So the question remains, how often does the movie stray from historical accuracy? Let's dig deeper. The movie opens with a young Napoleon witnessing Marie Antoinette's execution. But did this really happen? This is a question that has been on the minds of many viewers. The answer, in short, is no. Napoleon was not present at Marie Antoinette's execution. At the time of her death, he was on garrison duty in the south of France, far from the Place de la Révolution, where the guillotine fell. However, it's important to note that Napoleon was indeed in Paris when Marie Antoinette and Louis XVI were imprisoned in 1792. This event had a profound impact on him. The sight of the royal couple, once the most powerful in France, being brought low by a rabid mob, was a terrifying spectacle that left an indelible mark on the young military leader. The movie, therefore, takes a bit of artistic license with this scene. It combines two separate historical events, the imprisonment of the royal couple and the execution of Marie Antoinette, to create a dramatic opening scene. So, while it's not entirely accurate, it does give a sense of the tumultuous times in which Napoleon lived and the events that shaped his life and career. So, while the movie's depiction is not entirely accurate, it does combine two historical events. One memorable line from the movie has Napoleon barking at the British ambassador, but did he really say it? In Ridley Scott's biopic, Napoleon delivers a zinger to the British ambassador that goes, "You think you're so tough because you have boats." Now it's time to delve into the truth behind the cinematic moment. According to Oxford University's Professor Michael Browers, a leading Napoleon expert and historical consultant on the movie, Napoleon never said those exact words. However, it's important to note that the essence of this line is not entirely fictional. Browers points out that the line is based on a true encounter Napoleon had with the British ambassador William Wickham. The aristocratic Englishman managed to get under Napoleon's skin, pushing the French emperor to the edge of revealing his impressive army of 200,000 men in a fit of temper. So while the film may have taken some liberties with the precise wording, it seems to have captured the spirit of Napoleon's frustration and his fiery temperament. The scene effectively showcases his confrontational nature and his strategic prowess, elements that were integral to his persona. So while the exact words may not be historically accurate, the essence of Napoleon's sentiment is captured. Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal of Napoleon has been praised, but how accurate is it? It's a question that has been on the minds of many, especially those with a keen interest in historical accuracy. Let's delve a little deeper. One of the most striking aspects of Phoenix's performance is his depiction of Napoleon's ability to compartmentalize. Napoleon, in his lifetime, was known to be a multifaceted individual, but not necessarily a complicated one. He had the uncanny ability to separate and compartmentalize different aspects of his life, a trait that Phoenix seems to have captured quite well in his portrayal. Historically speaking, Napoleon was a man of many faces. He was a military genius, a political leader, a lover, and a dreamer, all rolled into one. He could switch from one role to another with ease, and that's precisely what Phoenix brings to the table. He presents us with a Napoleon who is as comfortable on the battlefield as he is in the drawing room, as adept at political maneuvering as he is at expressing his love for Josephine. But it doesn't end there. Phoenix also managed to capture Napoleon's sense of humor. Yes, you heard it right. Napoleon, despite his usually stern image, was known to be an incorrigible tease. He had a sense of irony and had the ability to laugh at himself even when laying down the law. This is a lesser-known facet of Napoleon's personality, one that often gets overshadowed by his military and political achievements. Yet Phoenix, with his nuanced performance, brings this aspect of Napoleon to the forefront. However, it's important to remember that no portrayal can be perfect. Phoenix's Napoleon, while commendable, is not without its flaws. It's a portrayal seen through the lens of a modern actor, shaped by a contemporary script, and presented to a 21st century audience. So while it may not be an exact replica of the historical Napoleon, it certainly gives us a glimpse into who Napoleon might have been. Phoenix's portrayal of Napoleon may not be perfect, but it captures some key aspects of Napoleon's character. It presents us with a Napoleon who is human, relatable, and above all, multifaceted. And isn't that the essence of good cinema? To present characters that are not just black and white, but shades of gray? In that, Phoenix's Napoleon certainly delivers. One dramatic scene in the movie involves Napoleon firing cannons at the pyramids. But did this really happen? Here's where history and Hollywood diverge. While it adds a layer of audacity to the character of Napoleon and makes for a visually compelling scene, in reality, this event never occurred. Historical records do not indicate that Napoleon ever ordered the firing of cannons at the pyramids. This cinematic scene is a fabrication, a flight of fancy designed to accentuate Napoleon's boldness and the grandeur of his Egyptian campaign. However, it's worth noting that there are accounts suggesting that French soldiers did shoot the nose off the Sphinx. This incident, while not as dramatic as firing cannons at the pyramids, does highlight the impact of the French campaign on Egypt's historical monuments. So while the scene of Napoleon firing cannons at the pyramids is a misrepresentation, it's not entirely devoid of historical context. It's an exaggerated reflection of the French army's actions during their time in Egypt. This scene serves as a reminder that movies often take liberties with historical facts for dramatic effect. It's a testament to the creative license filmmakers employ to craft compelling narratives, even when they're rooted in historical events. It's not about distorting history, but about creating a cinematic experience that captivates audiences and brings history to life in an engaging way. The movie depicts Napoleon retrieving a cannonball from his dead horse. But did this really happen? This question takes us deep into the realm of cinematic imagination. The answer to that is a resounding no. This incident, fascinating as it may be on the silver screen, is pure fiction. It's one of those moments that can capture an audience's attention. But when it comes to historical accuracy, it falls short. Napoleon was indeed a man of many battles and had many horses, but there's no record of him ever extracting a cannonball from one of them. This scene is an example of what is often termed as artistic license. Filmmakers sometimes take liberties with historical facts to create a more compelling or dramatic narrative. They aim to entertain and engage the audience, and in doing so, they might bend the truth a little or a lot. While this scene may not resonate with history purists, it does add a certain dramatic flair to the movie. The image of Napoleon reaching into his fallen horse is powerful and conveys his resilience and determination, qualities that he was well known for. However, it's important to remember that movies, even those based on historical events, are not always the most reliable sources of factual information. They are a blend of fact and fiction, designed to entertain first and foremost. So, while you enjoy the cinematic spectacle, remember to take it with a grain of salt. This scene serves as another example of the movie taking artistic license with historical events. We've explored several key scenes from the movie and compared them with historical records. We've discovered that, while there are certain liberties taken for cinematic appeal, Ridley Scott's Napoleon does capture some quintessential aspects of the man and his era. For instance, The film may have missed the mark with Napoleon's presence at Marie Antoinette's execution or his firing cannons at the pyramids. But it does portray the geopolitical tensions of the time and Napoleon's complicated personality. Joaquin Phoenix's portrayal shines a light on Napoleon's ability to compartmentalize, his sense of irony, and his knack for laying down the law with a dash of humor. In essence, the film is a blend of fact and fiction, woven together to create an engaging narrative. It serves as a reminder that while historical films can pique our interest in the past, they are not always 100% accurate. Remember, movies are designed to entertain. While they can teach us about history, they should always be viewed with a critical eye.